We have two fairway woods under this sort of M umbrella. And with M2, you know, what we've been trying to do and what I think we delivered this last year, which was incredibly long, playable fairway wood. It doesn't have the adjustability that M1 has. It's for the golfer that, you know, obviously wants distance, they want forgiveness, and they don't want to overthink it too much, and the M2 is providing that. So what were we challenged to do? How were we going to push that forward?
Every year we make the bottom of the face more flexible, which makes the entire face more flexible. It starts to allow your face to get too flexible and over the limit. So what you're going to do then is we're going to allow the heel and toe, the sections that aren't going to be at the limit, to get thinner and keep the center face thicker. So what that is our inverted cone technology. So it's really awesome because this is actually the first time we're able to do it in a fairway, and it's the increased flexibility in that speed pocket that allows us to do it. So we've pushed flexibility so far on the sole that the face got too fast. We're able to thin out the heel and toe and increase forgiveness across the entire face.
We've seen some of the testing results already, and you know, you wouldn't expect on a center strike that you'd pick up that much distance necessarily, because we were already at the legal limit, right? And we've already created some technology to drop spin, but we're seeing distance pick up from our testers because the average of their shots are better. So when they're mishitting it, they're still getting that high launch, low spin condition and protecting that ball speed. And so the benefit of forgiveness is ultimately distance in some cases like this. In the M2 fairway, we also have a geocoustic design, but it's kind of formulates in a slightly different way. And maybe Todd, you can walk us through it.
Geocoustic is showing up in both the M2 driver and the fairway. You can identify it because it's a raised portion of the sole, right? So when you see that, you say, oh, okay, we got geocoustic going on here. In the case of the fairway, we're trying to make a slightly bigger top view, which inspires confidence at address, but we're trying to really limit the amount of sole interaction with the turf, right? So in this case, we're raising this portion of the sole to get it off the ground, but at the same time, we have the same problem that we did with the drivers. We're trying to manage the sound of the club. And so that's where we go into the curvature of this, the external ribs that are really trying to manage back that sound in a minimal weight approach. And we're really taking a lot of those ribs out of the inside of the club and putting them on the outside.
Putting them on the outside is more mass efficient way of managing the sound as well. So when we first started doing that, we actually had the ribs on the inside. So they were internal ribs and down our traditional path. And we said, okay, well, you can see the way that this is bending and the frequency that this is going at. Well, if I put them on the outside, they'll be more efficient. So we actually put them on the inside and the outside to see what it would come to as far as frequency. And it was a little bit higher. And they're like, well, what happens if we remove them from the inside? Remove them entirely from the inside, didn't lose any of the benefit of them. So we were actually getting better performing ribs on the external part of the head rather than the internal part. And it had a bunch of other benefits for us. When you look at the new M2 fairway, it's actually a little bit larger in address shape. Part of the concerns when you go a little bit larger is you're having a larger footprint for interaction with the turf, which is not a good thing on a fairway wood. We're trying to hit it off the deck, you're trying to hit it from the fairway, you're trying to hit it from rough or wherever you are. A larger footprint is going to interact more. So that's not necessarily what you want on a fairway. So what we do is you drop all around the back and the skirt area to make sure that the locations that you're going to have interaction with, you're relieving that from the turf. But you're creating all these breaks in the sole. And breaks in the sole do not create good sound. So as you relieve this for turf interaction, you have to figure out a way to make sure that you're maintaining your sound. You're gonna make solid contact and you're gonna see good flight, but you're also gonna get good feedback in the sound. So that's part of what we're doing with the ribs, the geocoustic sole, the geocoustic ribs. They're external. So they're on the outside of the club now. And what that does is allows us to address all the concerns with the dropped area with as few ribs as possible to make sure that you're getting that good sound and feel without interacting with the turf.
Dropping the sole, creating it and making it more versatile and playable, and then adding those external ribs, that's one part of the sound element. The other part that we discovered sort of maybe a year or two ago is the hosel and how that plays a role in it. And in this year's, you'll see that it has the fluted hosel, like the original M2. But in this case, I think we even carved out even more mass from that hosel, which again is high up. You want to bring that down. And we use that for sound as well.
So, and I think what you're talking about is we get that high hosel into the same kind of place that the face is. So what you're doing is any bad sound that's generated is getting damped away by that hosel. That's what we're doing with the high, but high is bad. It's high CGE. You're moving it away from where you want it to. Last year we had 8 flutes in there, and this year we have 6. So they're all larger flutes. They're smaller areas in between each flute than last year, and they're deeper than last year. So all those things together helps us to save extra mass from that hosel.
I'm actually really happy with the way the cosmetics came out as well, and the marriage of the cosmetics to the actual technology of the head. Previously, we've done cosmetics that are separate to the technology. We want to make the club look good for the golfer, but we also want technology. This, I feel, is such a beautifully clean design that is also integrated so well into the technology that we're providing, like with the Fairway, how just the lines are perfect across the channel. The decals are placed in just the right way. The angles are all aligned. Everything is just done very, very cleanly and very, very precisely, and not in a busy sort of way. It's a very, very premium looking head.
Yeah, I think we try hard for the technology, tell the story of what's happening, you know, exposing the weights, making sure that's visible. Want the consumer to see that right away and make sure that, wow, this thing looks like it's going to go a mile, or it's there for a reason.
A lot of the sound testing, I think, in fact, I hit every iteration that we've ever done in the last 10 years probably. And usually, you know, I'll put the club down, I'll just hit it, okay, next ball, hit it. And this year with the fairways, I put it down, I hit it, and I'm like, wow, that feels really good. And then I look down at the numbers, and it's like I'm hitting a driver. I look up and the ball's flying over the fence. And I'm like, holy cow. But yeah, I hit it, I'm like, wow, that's great. And I look at it, it's M2, I'm like, oh, all right, that's pretty cool. It looks great, and holy cow, it flies far.
Sitting here and being able to reflect on all the technologies and innovation and sort of the journey that we've had along the way, I think we've been joking a little bit that, you know, it seems all rosy and great, but there are a lot of times that it's not. And we battle and we fight for the things. We're all fighting the same battle, right? But I think I appreciate the collaboration that we've had, and I think it's come through in the products more than ever. And I don't see that changing, so I think I'm incredibly proud of seeing the hard work come to life.